Hello friends, welcome to my channel GoDigit. Today in this video we will learn about the concept of running the test cases in the Business Central container. So initially I have just installed two sample apps. One sample app is ATDD and second one with the name ATDD1. Okay, and if you want to see the code you can see it that in this ATDD app I have added few test cases. Like this is one of the sample test cases in which in one code unit I have added 3 test cases and simple code. It's not like something which I need to explain you. It's just that I just want to test some numbers, random numbers, and that's it. And another code unit I have added in which there are 2 functions and I am matching the customer number and the vendor number. So you can see itself that in this one extension there are 2 test code units, and in one test code unit there are 2 functions and in another one there are 3. If I show you the another app, in this app also I just added one code unit with the same 3 test cases written, obviously on a different ID, right? So I have installed this app into my container, and let's say how to run them manually in the web client first. But of course we want not to run this manually but through the command itself, through the PowerShell command itself. So we will see both options, first manual and then the automation. So you can see here that I can just type AL test tool. Alright, so this is first of all I'm doing at the time manual thing. So I have just created one new test suite with the name called GoDigit. You can create your own test suite if you really want. You can directly create here a new test suite and then add your test cases there. Okay, so this is my test case, and what I can do here is that I can click on this get test code unit button, and from here you can see itself that 3 test code units are showing up. These 2, as I showed you, from belongs to my one app, and this one belongs to my different app, right, second app. So I'll add all these 3 test code units here, and now if I want to run them I can just click on run test, and now it will start executing all the test functions which are inside my test code units one by one, and then it will show me the results accordingly. And as you can see from here, the first test code unit, which has 2 functions, are successful. In the second code unit, 1 function is passed, third is passed but second is failing, and in another code unit all 3 are passing. So this is one of the manual way through which what we are doing, that we are creating a new test suite, adding it into this AL test tool, then clicking on this button, getting all the test code units into my test suite, into this test tool, and then I'm clicking one more button called run to test, and then it is giving me the results. So there are multiple clicks which user is doing, or which developer is doing, or tester is doing in order to test all these things. Now if you really don't want to do all this thing, manual things, and you just want to create some PowerShell script or using the BCcontainerhelper commands, so that you just run that script and it will give you the results right away on your development screen itself. So that is very easy. So for that, what we will do is that I have opened up this PowerShell environment. Okay, and now we will do everything one by one. So first of all, there is a command called run -test in BC container, right? So this is the main command which actually helps us to run all the test cases which are written in our test steps, and we have installed them in our container itself, right? So now let's see what are the parameter it is taking. So first parameter is the container name. So container name is something which I can pass the container name as BC server. Okay, if you don't know what is the name of your container, you can see from here itself in the URL, right, BC server /BC, or else you can run the command get -BC containers press enter, and it will give you the name of your container, which you can write down here. Okay, so I've got the uh, value of my first parameter, which is container name. Okay, then the second parameter is, although there are multiple parameters, but of course the first I will show you the important ones so that you will manage to run all your test cases. So second is credential. Credential is very important thing, because you want to run your test cases into your BC container, right? And the test cases which I managed to run manually was only when I managed to log in into the container, right? And to log in, it needs username and password. So how can I provide the username and password here? So there is a way to do it. Let's see the way. And the way is that I can create a variable called credential, and then we have one PowerShell command called new object. So I will create a new object with the name called PS credential, okay, which will take one parameter as the username. So this is the username. Okay, so in this object which I am creating, I am passing the username, okay, and then I need a password. So for that, what I can do here is that the best way is that I should convert to the secure string my password. The password is, okay, and whatever, this is my password of my container. If you have some different password, then you need to type your password here, and I'm telling the command that my password is in a plain text, so that it's a text only, plain text. So I'm passing this as a switch, which tells to the string that this is my password, which you need to convert as a secure string. Okay, and then that's it. Now if you run this command, right, it will give you your username and password. Like username is admin and password is secure, using this convert to dot secure string. Okay, but in actual this is my password. Okay, so now I've got the value for my credential parameter as well, which is this credential. Okay, let's see the another parameter, which is the test suite itself. Okay, so test suite, which means, as I showed you up here, that I have created a test suite in which I have, through that only I managed to run all my test cases, right? So if I let me pass the name of test suite, name equals to go digit. All right, so now I've got the value for my test suite parameter as well, so I can pass this variable name here. So majorly I have provided this PowerShell command, this BCcontainerhelper command, all the mandatory required parameters, like I provided them container name, credentials, and the test suite name. So whatever the test cases are already defined into this test suite, it will run all those. So let's see that. I'll run them, and now okay, sorry, I need to run the all basically. Okay, so now it is using the container which is BC server, and it is trying to connect to the container, and then now you can see that it has picked one of the first code unit 50100, which is a part of this. Okay, and then one by one it will pick everything. Okay, so it managed to run first code unit, then second test code unit, then third test code unit, and it is giving me the result in the success, failure, and success, whatever the results we have seen in the web client screen. Okay, so that's the first way through which we can run our test cases, using test suite. But major problem here is, if you want to run this command, you have to mention the suite name, and suite name must be created manually in the web client. If this suite does not exist, then this command will not be able to give you the results, because as you can see that it is running only the test cases which are defined into this AL test tool. But I don't want to set this manual thing that user must first create a test suite in the AL test tool, get all the test code units which they want to run, and then only they want to run this command. Okay, so it's not very much fruitful from automation perspective. So what let's see the another option through which we can do the same thing. Okay, so if you see here, uh, okay, let me type this. Now I don't need this parameter. What parameter I need is that, let's see other things. So it is showing us that it has this option called test code unit range, test function, extension ID. Okay, so let's see this extension ID, which means extension ID is something that it basically uh, just take the ID of the application in which the test cases are written, right? So for example, if I create a variable app ID, okay, and then I will just pass app ID here. So this app ID is belongs to my first application which has only 2 test code units. Okay, so if I run this now, so irrespective of the fact that whether I have created a test suite or not, whether I have added the test code units into my test suite or not, it's not looking after all those information. It is, it will, what this command will do, that it will just check my extension ID, like it will just check my app and fetch all the test code units which are there into this particular application and run them up. Okay, and as you can see that it ran only 50100 and 50101. It did not run 50110. Why? Because this 50110 belongs to the different app. Okay, so in this way I don't have to do any manual operations I don't have to input any manual data into the web client system. It's just that I just passed the app information and it is running all the test cases, irrespective of the fact that what will be the test ID, what will be the uh, other informations. Okay, so we can say here that run test cases per app basis. Okay, but now again the question is that in case I have multiple test apps installed and I want to run the test cases of all the test apps, then how will I do that? Should I need to pass all the app IDs one by one here, and then something like that I need to do, which is again a cumbersome activity. So for that we can do some tweak and we can use one another helper command, which is something like get nav app nav container app info. Okay, so it just takes the name of the container, okay, and it will give you the list of all the apps which are installed into this particular container. Okay, so but the thing is, as you can see from here, there are multiple apps are installed, and I'm just interested in running only the test apps, which is this. Okay, so now in my case I have given the name as ATDD1 or something like that. So this is a unique thing for me, so I can use this. Otherwise you can use your publisher, you can add a filter of your publisher or any other activity, any other unique thing which you want. But what I can do here is that I can add a filter, like I can filter the data, that like if I run this complete command I will get the complete list of the apps. But for example, if I just show you up, I'll create one variable app list. Okay, and if I run this command, so it will store all the app information into this particular variable called app list. But obviously I'm not interested in all the informations, all the apps. So if I run this, you can see here that I've got all the apps, but I am interested only in the ATDD, only in the apps which have this name called ATDD. So I will add a filter on this name parameter. So how I will add the filter? I can add a pipe and use one command called where object. Okay, and then name like ATD star. All right. So now I'm telling the system that first of all run this command, and then after getting all the results from here, filter only the objects which are having the name called ATDD inside it, and store pass the results to this particular variable. So let me run this, and now after this gets run, we will manage to see that it will hold only the information of two apps. Okay, so if I type now app list, press enter, so you can see that it has the information of one app, ATDD, right, ATDD1 and ATDD. All right, so now when I get the two apps into this particular variable, I can now use a loop for each app in app list, right, run hyphen test in BC container, container name, then credentials, and then extension ID equals to app.id, right. You can see here that it has this app ID parameter, so I'm passing this parameter. So I'm telling the system that first of all get the list, get the two apps, and then for each app ID run the test cases inside it. So now if I run this particular loop, so you will see here that it will pick each app and then run the test cases inside it, which belongs to that particular app. Okay, so now it is first of all picking my first app, which is ATDD1, and it ran the code units, test code units inside it, and now it is running the command again for my second app, and now you will see here that it will run the two test code units one by one, and it will give me the results soon. Alright, so one test code unit ran and second code unit ran. Alright, and it is telling me the function as well, because in this code unit there are three test cases, however only one is failing, so it is giving me the results of the failure one. Alright, so this is how simple it is, that you just have to loop through all your test apps one by one, and you can see the results directly inside your PowerShell screen itself. Okay, so this is again one of the way through which you can run your test cases. Let's see further parameters, like for example if I use this. Okay, let's see, it has this parameter called test code unit. Okay, let's say I pass that I want to run 50100 code unit. Okay, because we can see here that it has, I have three test code units, which is 50100, 500100, 50101. I want to run this. Let's see what it will give me the results. So I'm just running only one test code unit. Okay, one test code unit can have multiple test functions which I can filter again, but if I want to run all the test functions inside one code unit, I can run through this parameter. Okay, it is running all the three test cases and it will soon give me the results as success, because there are nothing like that. Okay, so you can see here that it just ran only one test code unit. Okay, so I can add a documentation that run one test code unit. Okay, let's say you want to run the test code unit in a range. So for that also we have a command. So let's say test code unit range. Okay, so what I can do here, I can pass a variable test code unit range, which I know it is from in my case, right, 50100, 50101 and 50110. So I have this range, so I can provide this range to this command, and let's see and run this command. Basically, if you know the range of your test code units, then irrespective of the fact that whether you want to run the test code units of multiple apps, it does not need any any app IDs. It will just run the test code units which falls under this particular range. You can see here the setting test code unit ranges this, and now it will run all the test code units one by one and giving me the very refined results. Here I did not need any app information, like I have not provided any app information, right? Run test code unit in a range without any app information. Alright, how simple it is that I managed to run all my test code units inside it. One thing is that there is one more parameter which is called detail. Like if you pass this and let's run this up, so you will see a little bit difference in the output when you add this detail. So I will run this and then you will be able to see. Right now in my original command, you can see that it is giving me only the information about success, failure. If it is failure, then which function is failing, and then success only. It is not giving me other information about it. But let's see after passing a detail how I'm getting the results. So now you will see that it is giving you an output with more detailed information. For example, in this first code unit which it ran 50100, it has two functions, right? Test function match customer number, test function match vendor number. So it is giving me the detail about each test function status, right? Then about the second code unit, you can see here that first test function it ran, it is giving me the information that it passed. Initially in the original output, I did not see that because originally this code unit have two test functions, but it is showing me only the failing. So I do not know the status of my T001 test function. But if you added the detail, you can see here that test function T001 is passed, but T002 is failing. And apart from this, it is giving me the complete stack, call stack as well, like how the error is coming up, like how the code units are running, how the different code ran, and how you encountered an error at which line. Okay, so complete detail information you are getting out of it. And same goes for the third test code unit. It is giving me the detailed breakup of all the test functions inside my test code unit. So this switch is very, very important, and I think you must use them so that you can get to see the complete detail about your executions. Okay, now let's see another command, basically one more command which is having called get test from BC container. Okay, so it also basically takes the container name and then credentials. Okay, and whether you would like to provide any particular uh, test code unit or any extension ID, or like you just want to fetch all the test cases, fetch test cases, okay, inside your BC container. Okay, so I'll just run this up. So what it will do, it will store all the information, it will fetch and store all the information about the test code units inside your BC container. No matter if 100 test steps are installed, then it fetch the test code units of all the 100 test apps and pass them into this particular variable. Okay, so now it ran successfully, and now if you want to see the results, fetch test cases, you can see here that it is giving me the information that these are the tests available in different code units with the different IDs, right? So just like I have provided a test code unit range here, I do not need to. I do not need to pass this any manual thing. I just have to use this command, pass all the information of the test cases here, and then again I can use a loop for each loop, like let's say each test in fetch test cases I want to run. All right, but of course I don't need this now, but what I need is test code unit with the information of each test dot id, right? Because test code unit needs a test code unit id, and I know that each test in this particular fetch test case variable, I have 3 parameters, test, name and id. So one by one it will pass the id, name and test to this particular variable, and from that I am fetching only the id and running them, passing them to this run hyphen test in BC container. So let's run this up and let's see the output. Let me add detailed as well. So I can write down run all test cases of all test installed test steps in BC container. Okay, so now it is running first code unit functions, then it will run second test code unit functions, and then it will run third test code unit functions, right? You can see here that line by line it is picking all the test functions and running the same. So how easy it is that if you do not know any information about what are the name of the test steps which are installed in your container, if you don't know about the test suite, if you don't know about the AL test tool, that how to configure, how to fetch all the test code units in the web client, if you don't know anything, you just have to create a script using these 3-4 lines, and it will run all your test cases and give you the results right away into the screen. Okay, one last thing is that export all this output in a file. Okay, so basically if I use this command, if I use this script, Okay, you will see here that basically it has one parameter called x unit results file name. Okay, so what basically this is, it is uh, results. Okay, so I need to store the file into my container. Okay, C program data BC container helper and results, let's say test results dot xml. All right, so this is the path where I want to create an XML file and export the results into this XML file. Okay, so I just pass results. All right, so let's see what it will do. So now it will run all the test cases, test functions, test code units into my container itself, and then it will export the results into this particular file called testresults.xml into this particular path, right? So this means that after, let's say, you created the script and you schedule the script which will run maybe every day or every week, then you should not be depend upon uh, this output which this PowerShell is currently generating. Okay, the results will get stored into this file, which of course you can email to your subordinates, to your colleagues, or you can view it for your own purpose, like in order to see that what type of results system is generating. Okay, so you can see from here that into this particular path my file gets generated, and if I open this up in the VS Code, you will be managed to see the complete details about like how the test cases are running. So you can see here that collection name new test, which has total 3 test cases were running, and total 3 code units which runs, and it passed, and you can see here that T001, T002 and T003. Okay, however, I think at this moment it just stored only the information about the last test case written. But if I have stored where I just ran only one file, so you can see from here that it is giving me the details about in case your test case which is failing in a very detailed manner, right? You can see from here that first of all it runs my first test code unit which have 2 functions. So 2 functions results, match customer number, match vendor number, which are results are as passed and passed. For second code unit, it stores the results into this like it is showing me the results, that results are pass and results are fail, and if they are failing, then it is giving me the complete stack, call stack as well here into this particular file, which I can view, which I can later use this information for the debugging purposes, right? So this is how easy it is that it managed to store every information into this. Okay, sorry, my bad. Right now you can see here that it just stored the results of the last test run. Okay, but one more parameter if I use, which is append to X unit results file. Okay, so it has both XML file and JSON file, like this parameter which you can see here. JUnit results file name, which is nothing but the JSON file. Okay, but in this case, let me write down append to x. X means XML. So now if I run this, so let me delete all this. First of all, I'll need to close them, and if I run this now, so I hope now it will not only create the file and export the result of each code unit, each test function, and then when the second time it will run, it will append the results further into my XML file rather than delete the first results and then export the second results. Right. So you will see. Let's finish it running. But it's not limited to XML. As I said, you can create JSON, or you can export the data, export the results into the JSON format as well. So let's wait for a few seconds and let's see the results then. Okay, done. So now let's come here and you can see here okay. So now, first of all, it runs 50100, okay, which has total 3 test cases: T001, T002, T003, all are passed. Okay. Then second code unit, which is 50100, okay, it has total 2 test cases, both are passed. And if you want to see the test functions also, test name is match customer number, test name is match vendor number, they are also passed. Let's see the third test code unit, which is 50101, another test which is failing. Basically it has total 3 test cases, 2 are passed, 1 is fail. So it is having the information of first test case which is pass, second test case which is failing, and it is giving me the complete call stack of the failing thing, and then the third test case which is passed. Right. So how easy it is, basically, uh, which through which you will be able to see all the results uh, in a complete file itself. Right. I'll just close them up. Continue, and let's try the JSON thing as well. Okay, so basically what I will do here is that I will use test results.json, and rather than I will use x results, but I will pass j unit results file name in the results and then append to JUnit results file. Okay, so now let's see the output. How the output will be visible into the JSON file. So let's see the JSON export as well. First is done. Okay, here I have did not added the detail tag, so that's why I'm getting to see this type of a output. Second is done, and now third is running and third is done. So let's see the test results. Let me open this in a VS Code. Okay, so here you can see the the wait a second, it's a JSON file only. Okay, but the output looks like an XML based only. If I Yes, it's quite strange that it is generating the results in an XML format only, although the file name I pass as JSON. But you can see from here that this test code unit first runs and it is giving me the information about the two test cases which it runs, then second code unit which it runs, and then the third code unit which it runs, this one, right? Total test which are failed, total test case which are skipped, total test cases which are passed. So all this information you will be able to see through this file which you will which system or which your script will export automatically for you. Okay, so in this video I have shown you up every bit of information about that how you can automate your running test case test functions of your test tabs which are installed in the BC container using PowerShell script, and how you can automate everything using this script. Okay, I hope you understand all the different cases which I have explained in this video. And just one thing is that let me know if you know this, that why it generated an XML file and not the JSON file, although I was expecting that it should generate a JSON file. Maybe I need to check it further. But that's it in the today's video. I hope you like it. In case you like it, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.